Firstly, I want to express my deep appreciation what you are doing. And since many years, I heard this kind of activities carried by some of the members of Lama Rinpoche's organization. So now today, actually, I have the opportunity to visit your own place and meet some of your staff members and volunteers, and also some
clients. The patients.
So I am extremely happy. It is human nature, not only we human being, but including these mountains or oceans, appears more or less permanent, but actually even these things also, there's beginning, there's end. Whole of galaxies, also there's beginning and there's end. So it is quite natural. Any phenomena which has beginning, there must be end. Then the other plants or mountains, rocks, or oceans, or galaxies, stars, these I think no senses of cognitive power, right?
They have no cognitive capacity.
So certainly, except the chemical reaction, otherwise no feeling. Therefore, no pains, no pleasure, no joyfulness. But then sentient being, or similar, a living thing with life, but more than that, this cognitive capacity. With that, they experience, feeling. So therefore, the other living thing, when they come to end, this is just end. Then we, who have the feeling, and particularly we human being, because of our memory and because of our, I think, capacity of vision, much greater than other animal. So other animal may be strong feeling at the moment, some pains and pleasure like that. But we, because of this intelligence, so and memory about long past, right? Long past, right? And also vision, future. So therefore, when we passing through our life, and generally speaking, eventually old age, then some serious illness which come to nearer the end. Right?
Terminal illnesses.
And because our intelligence, as I mentioned earlier, memory and visions, so we usually facing additional psychological problems, right?
Yes.
Or emotional problems. So therefore, it is not sufficient just taking care of the body, but we need more. You see, in Tibetan Buddhist tradition, there is also the saying, the practitioner, I think top practitioner, towards the end of life, there is such top practitioner actually happy towards the end of the life, because that is the new opportunity to take young body and some cases some other better planet, less trouble, including so-called heavens like that.
There were realms, the celestial realms.
Then middle kind of practitioner, towards end of the life, no sort of no reluctance. You are ready for that. You're prepared for that. So no sort of reluctance. Then the last practitioner,
the least practitioners,
no joyfulness or happiness regarding death, no kasoda, more than reluctance, now
no regret.
that third, you see, no regret. So while I alive, I done my best. Now and come, no regret. I think more or less that is the practical sort of attitude, realistic attitude. That is part of life. As I mentioned earlier, where there is beginning, the end logically come. So, from the Buddhist viewpoint, the end, as a human being, is much, much fortunate because there are helpers. There are more people who really keep taking care. And also, because of our intelligence, even at the moment of dying, you see, you can still utilize your intelligence. So, to cultivate at that moment some positive mind, such as still altruism. My own case, although some difference in practice in my daily practice, some different sort of practice there, suppose preparation for my death. But I'm not very sure whether I can materialize this practice, this preparation satisfactorily or not, I don't know. So sometimes I a little bit doubt. But one thing quite sure, at the time of death, I will remember about altruism. And still thinking the future life should be something meaningful, something useful to others. So that's Buddhist practitioners' sort of view of thinking. Right? So in any way, so at the time of end, so we really need some, what's the counselor, counselor
Counseling.
Counseling. I think very, very useful. Very useful. That is taking care about our emotions, about our sadness. Not only the dying person himself or herself, but also his or her close friends. So it is very, very useful. And meantime, I have no doubt, difficult job. So I visit some hospital in Japan where deformed children, taking care deformed children.
Yeah. Children with deformities.
Oh, really? Very, very sad. I really admire those people who are working, taking care about these
children with deformities.
Something like hopeless patient. Really. So, this is taking care much sort of disturbed minded people. Not easy. So I want to special thank to those people who involved in such difficult task. I think this is, in a way, I think service without reward.
Without any expectation for reward.
So that's the real service. Otherwise, it's through calculation. If I have this much, and what I will get, that is something like trade. But this service is really selfless, right?
No,
selfless.
Selfless.
Service. Really great. Then, now how to deal the person who are facing now that sort of end. Of course, I'm not expert. So I'm just someone who really admires such work and realize it's really important and necessary, and also I think a last service, last opportunity of service to other, or last sort of opportunity of the implementation of love and compassion. That much I know. But then how to deal? Of course, better to research work and with some other experts. I think you may gain more as a method or more efficient sort of method. My knowledge, of course, very limited. But generally speaking, I think there are a variety of people who are now, because of the process of that end. I think firstly, a non-believer. The non-believer, the end of that, the time of the end, I think more or less same feeling. And so feeling of I, everybody, whether practitioner or not practitioner or believer or non-believer, or everyone, or rich or poor, educated or uneducated, or high-ranking or the low people, I think from the president or the king or emperor, the dog or beggar, same at that moment. This feeling of I is same. So that with that feeling, some kind of a feeling, now I am no longer. That very strong feeling, every sentient being is experienced at that time. So because of the feeling of self, one self. Now I am no longer. So there are sometimes fear, sometimes really shocking or something, helplessness. So to non-believer, I think at that moment, it's difficult to help. However, I think in daily life, or before you see that actual sorrow happen, I think it is important to accept sooner or later that is come. When I passing through big cities, and when they what called
cemeteries.
Or cemeteries. When I passing through cemeteries, and I usually is telling my the companions, this is our final destination. Not a big house, but that is our real final destination. Yeah. So better to accept that. Sooner or later, that will come. That's part of our life. Then, when that about to approach, and accept. Now, part of our life, part of the nature, now come to nearer to me. Okay, I think that's better. Sometimes I notice some people, even you see they avoid.
No.
Yeah.
They try to avoid.
Oh, you see the very word of death. That's quite silly, unrealistic. It's better to talk, better to accept. That's a reality. So, I think like any other our activities should be realistic, even good or bad. Accept that. No use pretension, right?
Pretension.
Or no use formality. When about death comes, there is no formality. Just to come. And also the way birth, no formality, isn't it? Just to come. There's some white Tibetan, there's a friend who very much concerned about what is called Khasa Juti. Astrology, right? Astrology. What called? Astrology, astronomy. Astrology, isn't it?
Astrology, maybe.
Astrology. So basically, I have no faith about astrology. So I joking, teasing some of these people who really very much concerned about this astrology, and I am telling them, in our lifetime, most important is two things: beginning and the end. So in these most important two things, birth and death, we cannot go according to astrology. Birth come, born, death come. See, we cannot say, oh, this is bad day according to astrology, so I will not die. It is beyond our control. So then between there, comparatively minor, they're not important. Even according to astrology, is something bad day, doesn't matter. Go ahead. So that's my view. So you important to accept that and pursue more realistic way. That I think helpful to reduce additional mental projected
anxiety
or sorry, or sadness,
sorrow,
or fear. Then I think the best method to avoid fear or regret at the time of death is while we are alive. Our time, our energy must utilize meaningful way. Serving others, That's, I think, most profound sort of way of or meaning of usefulness. One's own survival, even animals also can do. But for service to others is something unique about human being. I think bondage way. No, mother and child or offspring.
The bond. The bond between mother
bond,
and the offspring.
Even other animals also have. But they are sort of that kind of closeness feeling short period. But we, human being, because of intelligence, that kind of feeling we can prolong whole our life.
Extend it through our life.
So, serving other people, helping other people, is, I think, very, very appropriate sort of action according to our intelligence, right? Or human ability. We have such sort of ability, so to utilize that ability,
in the most appropriate way.
Or most appropriate way is serving other people. Then, at the end, you feel no regret. I done my best, some useful, sort of meaningful life. Now, and come, although sorry, sad, but no regret. So this is whether believer or non-believer, I think everybody, that's I think common, the same thing. Then believer, again two categories, generally speaking. They believe God, according to theistic religions. Then, I think very useful to think God. God is the creator. So, this very life created by God, according to theistic religion. So therefore, and also according to God's plan. Right. So although some sort of unfortunate death looks very sad, not because of justified way.
No, it doesn't seem justified.
But there must be some meaning, which we may not understand. God plans that, so therefore there must be some meaning, some positive meaning. Think that line, also helpful. Then, non-theistic religion, such as Buddhism, we believe everything happened due to law of causality. Happy sort of event or sad event, including illness, incurable illness, right? Or old age or death, also due to causal conditions. And from the viewpoint of let's say, some of these non-theistic religion, who also, you see, accept the rebirth theory, continue on the basis of continuation of mind or continuation of subtle mind and energy. We believe previous life and future life. The past life is limitless. The future life also, till the ignorance eliminate, their life will continue. So therefore, from that viewpoint, death is something like changing our clothes. Clothes become old,
when it is
useless.
No more of any use.
Then time come, change. New clothes. Perhaps more expensive. So like that. So another angle, that means something like deep sleep. This consciousness, a certain level, that's the awakening state. Then go down, dream state. Further go down, deep sleep. Further go down, faint. Further go down, death. At the time of dying or death. The most low level of mind. So then again goes
in the reverse order.
So life circle like that, our consciousness, certain level, then go, and again come back, go like that. So that means, you see, death means time of change of body, but continuous mind still there. On that, also the continuation of the mind is the basis we designated the self. There's no independent self like that. So knowing these things, I mean that dying person, if you see the believe or accept these philosophical concepts, then actually at that moment, the best sort of opportunity to examine the different stage of dissolution of our physical components. Although I asked some my friend who also is a practitioner, so when they were passing through some surgery with the shime.
Anesthesia?
So I asked at least 2 or 3, do you find some kind of the indication of these different stages of dissolution? I asked at least 2 persons. They say no. So I don't know. Maybe, you see, due to that, so the pill or the smell or something, maybe I think the reaction very quickly. So you see, you cannot recognize these indication of these different signs of at different levels.
Different signs that accompany the different stages of dissolution.
So in any way, you see, now conclusion, the non-believer better to accept this is part of reality, part of our life, and sooner or later it will come. Then among the believer, believing God, total sort of belief, because of the belief,
total submission,
faith, submission to God is useful at that moment. Then,
in the case of non-theistic
religious people, religious believer, then they say, think about rebirth theory. It's also useful. So that usually, then those remaining,
yes,
the family members,
those who are left behind.
Usually I sort of sharing with these people. Now, for example, at the time of my own mother, died, and also particularly my teacher, death of my teacher. At that time, of course, feel very sad. But then I make up my own mind. If I remain too much sadness, then some way my teacher or my mother knows about my mental state. Then certainly they feel much sort of worry. Of course, death, one of your closest sort of friend, is very sad. But still, you remain more normal way,
more composed,
and carry your life usual way, and like you see your service or your meaningful life, still even you see carry more rigorously, then your loved one may feel, okay, now I no more there, but my friend still carry continuously with full of strength, full of enthusiasm. And that person, if there is way to know, then that I think that sort of loved one, I think feel much happier, isn't it? If you too much worry, then that person, not only his or her own death, but also see his or her remaining people, too much worry and desperate and sometimes nervous downdraft.
No, with nervous breakdown.
Then additional worry about that person. So think is that line. So the remaining people, of course, sad, sometimes unacceptable sort of tragedy, but that already happened. Too much worry, no help to return, to revive that person. Now, too much worry is simply ruin your own health, your own peace of mind. That actually additional sort of tragedy. You yourself then, you see, involved on additional sort of suffering or problems. So that's usually, I also use experience like that way, and also, you see, telling some is my friend who, a friend or some people who come to see me after you see they facing some tragedy. Usually I, give that kind of suggestions. So finally, thank you. You invited me here, and also you, and also you arranged this as a helicopter. So very, very easy to come here. The other day, the helicopter, the raining. So helicopter, physical, very pleasant, but mentally a little worry because of the rains. But today, physically very comfortable, mentally also safe. Like that. Thank you very much.